One Piece chapter 977. So finally, we have the 10 Straw Hats together, and they even say it in this chapter, at least according to the translation I have. And I'll get into that translation issues that we might be having with this one. And we see Carrot here too. She's included in this panel hugging Jinbei. So does that mean that Carrot is going to be a Straw Hat? Maybe. I hope not. I mean, I know a lot of people like her. I mean, she's a fine character, but becoming a Straw Hat, I don't think that she should. She's not really worthy. There's no real purpose that her joining would serve, I think. I don't even know what role she could fill other than just being a mink. So then we come to the planning portion of this chapter, and I enjoyed it. I like that it's just real, straightforward, getting it out of the way, not dragging it out. And I also like how Law has adapted his strategy finally after 3 arcs of trying to make things go cohesively with the Straw Hats. He's just like, screw it. And I'm sure everyone else did too, because he's like, look, I know that I can't control Luffy, and I know that Kid is kind of just like him, so they're both going to just rush in blindly, and he can use that to their advantage, because they could just be like a diversion at that point. They're going to cause ruckus, and then, while they have all of the attention on them, then they could just split off to the sides like what they were initially going to do. And I also like the little comical moment we get with Denjiro, where he's still kind of like fanboying over Kinemon, despite him still, giving away Kanjuro's leaked plan. But what they're going to do now is I guess the Scabbards are going to go with Law, and he's going to go underneath the currents and the land and all that stuff and take them around to the back of the island, where the mountains will pile up behind the Skull Island of Onigashima, and then they're going to make their way through the back. And then there's going to be another force on the opposite end of them, but not exactly going up the mountain path, and then you're probably going to have Kid and Luffy in the front. And then Denjiro conveniently is like, I forgot to tell you about the Guardians at the port. They're like these beastly dudes that are always just chilling there. And while he's just saying this, we just get this quick montage of the Straw Hats just beasting these guys, just basically one-shotting them. And this is going back to what I was talking about in the beginning of the chapter, how this is kind of moving at a brisk pace. I feel like, he probably would have slowed down this portion previously, maybe, like I said, broke this up into 2 chapters, but I'm fine that they're moving at this pace. I just want to get to the Onigashima battle. It's literally been built up for 2 years within the actual arc, but then years, 8 years within the actual story or something. I don't know, ever since the whole Kinemon revelation stuff happened. But I don't know, it's just cool to see, now that the Straw Hats are all together, we get to see them taking out these dudes who are considered powerful enough for the Scabbards or even Denjiro to earnestly worry about them. And right off the bat, it shows Luffy, Jinbei, Zoro, Sanji, Brook, and even Robin is getting a moment. Robin is doing the giant foot smash thing, which he hasn't done in a while, maybe since Fishman Island. When all of the Straw Hats got to show what all of the new abilities and powers that they got post time skip. So maybe Robin will get some more combat in this arc. I know a lot of people are kind of on the fence about her and her importance to the story, aside from her reading poneglyphs and, being the historian and all that stuff. And then at the end of this little sequence, we get to see the, as they call themselves, the weakling trio, Usopp, Nami, and Chop. They're just hiding back. They're just watching, not participating. And yes, this just adds to it. It's funny. This is, what they do. But it's not like they're not going to get into a battle or something, because they obviously are at some point in this arc. I mean, everybody is going to have a fight. There's plenty of dance partners for everyone, plenty of action. So when it comes down to it and they really have to get their hands dirty, they definitely will, especially Usopp. Nami's no stranger to that, and neither is Chopper. So they'll have their moments for sure, just not now. So after we get over this, just quick jobbing of these Guardian dudes, so then we come to a strange portion of the chapter where everything just stops and the Straw Hats just stop doing what they're doing, and then they raid the Gate Guardian dudes that they just jobbed and one-shotted. And Zoro, he picks up this big bale of sake or bucket of sake, whatever he's got here, and Zoro's super happy. Because he was able to, sense, the smell of all things, able to get the haki that way. And not argumentative with Sanji at all, even though despite Sanji is still being Sanji. Interesting. And then, they, like I said, they just kind of stop, and they're about to have this big cheers moment, big toast for Jinbei joining the crew. And then Luffy suddenly decides to stop and just says, you know what, let's just, toast with everyone and have a banquet after the war is over. First we'll settle things with Kaido and then with Big Mom and Orochi. So is that a spoiler of how events in this arc are going to play out? Like they're going to take down Kaido first and then fight Big Mom and Orochi? That seems interesting, because typically you would think that it would play out with Kaido being the big bad at the very end. I wouldn't read too much into this. I mean, yeah, this is Luffy's intentions. He wants to take out Kaido first, but it's very unlikely that things will play out that way. At least I think so. Big Mom and Orochi being the final two big bads standing would just be weird, but it would be fine, if Oda just subverted his own tropes, if you will. And also, I don't know, it's just foreshadowing what always happens at the end of a big One Piece arc. They have like a party. They have like a feast or a festival or whatever. And I'm sure it will be no different this time, unless, I don't know, he really subverts the tropes and like there is no winners in this. And I don't know, they both go their separate ways or something. I don't think that's going to happen. This has been built up for way too long. But then we come to this cool little rivalry moment with Kid and Luffy. And it's, I don't know, we don't really typically see Luffy like this too much, where he's like, I don't know, almost jealous or just in this intense rivalry with another person where it's not even joking. And Luffy is like, seriously like, hey, look, I don't want to look bad in front of this guy. So Jinbei, hey, try to beat them in a naval race. He says oddballs, but I'm sure that translation was off. I like that. I like the dynamic that Kid and Luffy have. I think it's refreshing. And we need to have that rivalry aspect for Luffy. Something that has really like escaped him throughout the series. I mean, of course, he's had rivals to him, but he's never really willingly partook in like a rivalry up until this point. All right, so now we come to the massive point of this chapter, which is just the very end of it. And this is like going into the translation stuff that I talked about. So Kaido says that, where's my son? Okay, this is a banquet. Search for him. I want him to come here. So Kaido has a son, apparently. But I've heard that there's like some translations that says that it's not his son and that he's just referring to younglings in general. But then I heard that apparently this specifically in Japanese direct translation is him talking about his literal son. So this is a major revelation for sure, Kaido having a son, and we speculated for a while now that his sons were probably either going to be like Katakuri or Daifuku, Oven, somebody like that, which seems like, realistic, but also, now I guess that's confirming that that's not the case. It would be quite the twist if Katakuri and them were on Onigashima without Big Mom somehow knowing it. And also Big Mom, speaking of her, she's switching into a kimono. Not sure the significance of that. I don't know, just changing her outfit, I guess, for the battle that's about to come up. That's fine. But yeah, who is Kaido's son? I have no idea. Now, and also, of course, we have to address the Flying Six coming into the end here. We were introduced to this aspect of Kaido's crew, I don't know, like 30 or 40 chapters back or something when we first saw where Drake was. Because there's like the headliners, which is like the most powerful dudes in Kaido's army. Like they're above the gifters, the waiters, the pleasures, and all of that. But then the best of the headliners are the Flying Six. So I guess it's like the hierarchy would be the Flying Six and then the All-Stars, which are, King, Queen, Jack, and then Kaido. And I guess that the Flying Six would also be above the numbers as well, because, you have like 6 plus the All-Stars plus Kaido. That would be 10. And also, we just got reintroduced to the 10 Straw Hats here. So I suppose that the Flying Six, the All-Stars, and Kaido are the top of this crew here. So we're going to see I guess, all of the strongest members in the next chapter, because we also see X-Drake in the back here. And then we see this dude who kind of looks like he has Sanji's shoes and pants on in the front here. So maybe this guy's the leader of the Flying Six. Maybe this is Kaido's son. Maybe Kaido's son is a part of the Flying Six. Unsure. Maybe Kaido's son is still young. I don't know. Maybe he had him recently. But I'm sure we'll find out in the next chapter. And apparently he wants to show Big Mom the Flying Six for some reason. So I don't know. Maybe there's a relationship there. Maybe one of the members of the Flying Six is the child or the son of Big Mom and Kaido. Maybe that will actually come to fruition, but it's just not characters that we've already met. But that's pretty much it for the review today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comments. And if you liked it, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. Give you access to weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.